Hello everybody. If you want to read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 666. Ooh. The Whispering Walls. Intermediate. In the quiet town of Eldridge, where the fog never quite lifted from the streets, the Hargrove family arrived on a rainy autumn evening. Tom, a tired factory worker with rough hands and a kind smile, drove the old van up the gravel path to Willow House. His wife, Elena, sat beside him, her fingers twisting the hem of her coat. Their daughter, Lily, only 12, pressed her face against the back window, watching the twisted branches of the willow tree scratch at the sky like bony fingers. The house was ancient, its stone walls covered in ivy that seemed to pulse in the dim light. They had bought it cheap. Too cheap, some whispered in the town pub. But times were hard, and the low price meant a fresh start. "It's perfect," Tom said as they unloaded boxes, his voice echoing in the empty hall. Elena nodded, though her eyes darted to the shadows in the corners. That first night, they lit candles and ate cold sandwiches on the kitchen floor. Lily giggled as she chased crumbs across the tiles, but as the clock struck midnight, a soft sound began. It was like wind through cracks, but the windows were shut tight. "Do you hear that?" Elena asked, her fork pausing mid-air. Tom shook his head. "Just the house settling, love." But Lily tilted her head, her small ears catching the murmur. It sounded like voices, far away and sad, whispering secrets from behind the walls. The next morning, sunlight filtered through grimy panes and the whispers stopped. They scrubbed and painted, turning the place into a home. Tom hammered shelves in the living room, Elena hung curtains in the bedrooms, and Lily explored the attic, where dusty trunks hid forgotten toys. But by the evening, the sounds returned. This time clearer. Words formed in the hush. "Stay! Stay with us!" Elena woke in the night, sweat on her brow. She sat up in bed, listening. The whispers came from the wall beside her, low and insistent, like lovers murmuring in the dark. "Tom!" she whispered, shaking him. He grumbled and rolled over. "Dreams, Elena. Go back to sleep." But she couldn't. The voices pulled at her, promising things she didn't understand. Warmth, safety, forever. She pressed her ear to the cold plaster, and for a moment she felt a hand, thin and icy, brush her cheek from the other side. Days blurred into weeks. Lily started to change first. She spent hours in her room, staring at the faded wallpaper patterned with roses that seemed to bleed red in the lamplight. "Mum, they talk to me," she said one afternoon, her voice flat, eyes too bright. Elena knelt beside her, stroking her hair. "What do they say, darling?" Lily smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "They say you're leaving soon, but I won't let you." Tom laughed it off at dinner, blaming the move for everyone's nerves. But that night he heard it too. In the bathroom, as he shaved by candlelight, the electric still being faulty, the mirror fogged without steam. Letters appeared in the mist. "Join us." His razor slipped, slicing his thumb. Blood dripped into the sink, and the whispers laughed, a chorus of dry, rattling glee. Panic set in. Elena searched the town library, flipping through yellowed books on local history. Willow House had stood for 200 years, built on the site of an old asylum where the mad had been locked away. In 1823, a fire had claimed 30 souls, their screams echoing through the stones. The walls, they said, held the echoes, trapped spirits hungry for company. "We have to leave," Elena told Tom, her hands trembling as she packed a bag. But Lily was gone. They found her in the cellar, sitting cross-legged on the dirt floor, humming a tune none of them knew. "Lily, come on," Tom said, reaching for her. She turned, her face pale as bone, and hissed, "They're my friends now. They promised me everything." Her voice cracked, splitting into two, her own in something older, deeper, like gravel underfoot. Elena screamed as Lily's eyes rolled back, showing only whites. The girl lunged, nails raking Elena's arm, drawing thin lines of blood that the shadows seemed to drink. Tom grabbed Lily, pinning her arms, but she twisted like a snake, whispering words in a language long dead. The house shook then, doors slamming, floorboards groaning as if the building breathed. Plaster cracked on the walls, and faces emerged, pale, eyeless masks mouthing silent pleas. "Stay! Stay!" The air grew thick, heavy with the smell of smoke and rot. They dragged Lily upstairs, locking her in her room. "We called the police," Tom gasped, dialing on his old phone, but the line was dead. Elena bandaged her arm, whispering prayers she half remembered from childhood. Hours passed. Lily's cries turned to laughter, then silence. Dawn broke, grey and weak. When they opened the door, Lily sat on the bed, smiling sweetly. "I'm sorry, Mum. It was just a game." Relief flooded them. They hugged her tight, tears mixing. But as Tom turned to fetch breakfast, Lily's hand slipped into her pocket. She pulled out a shard of glass from the attic trunk, sharp and glinting. The whispers urged her on, 1,000 voices in her head. "Keep them, forever." Elena saw the glint too late. Lily plunged the glass into Tom's back, once, twice, with a child's clumsy strength. He crumpled, gurgling, blood pooling like spilled ink. Elena lunged, but Lily was faster now, possessed by something ancient and vile. The shard sliced across Elena's throat, hot pain blooming as she felt beside her husband. Lily stood over them, chest heaving, the voices singing in triumph. The walls pulsed, absorbing the fresh screams into their endless hunger. She dropped the glass, stepping over the bodies, and walked to the window. Outside, the willow tree swayed, branches like welcoming arms. That evening, the townsfolk noticed the van still parked, lights flickering inside. No one answered the door. Days later, when the police broke in, they found the house empty. Dust covered the furniture as if no one had lived there for years. In Lily's room, the wallpaper hung in strips, revealing names carved deep into the plaster. Dozens of them, old and new. At the bottom, fresh and wet with blood, Lily Hargrove. The whispers waited, patient as stone, for the next family to hear their call. Vocabulary notes. Pulse, verb, to move or beat with a strong, regular rhythm, like a heartbeat, often used to describe something alive or throbbing. Example, the house was ancient, its stone walls covered with ivy that seemed to pulse in the dim light. Similar words, throb, to beat or pulsate strongly, often with pain. Example, the wound began to throb after the accident. Beat, to strike rhythmically, like a heart. Example, her heart beat faster as the storm approached. Surge, to rise or flow suddenly and strongly. Example, energy surged through the crowd during the concert. Murmur, noun. A low, continuous sound like a soft whisper or gentle complaint. It can suggest something indistinct or secretive. Example: it was like wind through cracks, but the windows were shut tight. But Lily tilted her head, her small ears catching the murmur. It sounded like voices, far away and sad, whispering secrets from behind the walls. Similar words. Whisper, a very soft-spoken sound, almost inaudible. Example: she spoke in a whisper so no one else could hear. Mumble, to speak quietly and unclearly, often indistinctly. Example: he mumbled his apology under his breath. Hum, a low, steady buzzing sound. Example: the machine made a soft hum in the background. Insistent, adjective, demanding attention in a persistent and forceful way, refusing to stop or be ignored. Example: the whispers came from the wall beside her, low and insistent, like lovers murmuring in the dark. Similar words. Persistent, continuing firmly despite obstacles. Example: the persistent rain ruined our picnic plans. Demanding, requiring a lot of effort or attention. Example: she has a demanding job that keeps her busy all day. Relentless, unstopping and severe. Example: the relentless heat made the hike exhausting. Possessed, adjective, controlled or influenced by an evil spirit or force, can also mean owned, but here it implies supernatural takeover. Example: Elena screamed as Lily's eyes rolled back, showing only whites. The girl lunged, but Lily was faster now, possessed by something ancient and vile. Similar words. Haunted, affected by ghosts or evil spirits. Example: the old mansion felt haunted at night. Overcome, completely controlled by a strong emotion or force. Example: he was overcome by anger during the argument. Seized, suddenly taking control of. Example: fear seized her as the door creaked open. Absorbing, verb present participle. Taking in or soaking up something completely, like a sponge, often used for ideas, sounds, or substances. Example: the walls pulsed, absorbing the fresh screams into their endless hunger. Similar words. Devouring, eating or consuming greedily and completely. Example: the fire was devouring the dry wood quickly. Soaking up, gradually taking in liquid or information. Example: the towel was soaking up the spilled water. Engulfing, completely surrounding and overwhelming. Example: the fog was engulfing the entire valley. Story written by Gemini AI. Image created by Gemini AI. To read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. CC Music, Drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at The Whispering Walls. It's really a masterclass in building dread.
It really is. We're going to break down how the author uses language and atmosphere to, well, basically weaponize a house against its inhabitants.
Right. So the setup is the Hargrove family, Tom, Elena, their daughter Lily, who's 12. They moved to this place, Willow House. It's in Eldridge, this town that's always foggy.
Yeah, and the house description immediately sets off alarm bells. It's old, stone, covered in ivy. But the ivy seemed to pulse, and crucially, the price was too cheap.
That detail, too cheap, you just know nothing good is coming. And pulse.
Yeah.
Wow. Straight away, the house isn't just a building.
Exactly. It's alive somehow. It makes the setting itself the antagonist right from the get-go. We're not just waiting for a ghost to show up. The house is the threat.
So how does it start? The haunting, I mean.
It's subtle at first. Auditory. Starts at midnight. This low, constant sound. The story calls it a murmur.
A murmur. That's more unnerving than a scream, almost. Gets under your skin.
Totally. And Lily, the daughter, she's the first one to really hear it properly. She says it sounds like sad voices far away, even though, the windows are all shut.
Isolating the child first. Classic horror move, but effective. Makes the parents doubt, maybe.
Initially, yeah. But the sound escalates. It becomes insistent. That's the word used. The murmurs start forming actual words.
Okay, what words?
Stay. Stay with us. And then Tom, the dad, he sees join us, written in the fog on the bathroom mirror, right before he cuts himself shaving, no less.
Oof. That moves it from creepy sounds to a direct invitation or threat.
A demand, I'd say. And it targets the skeptic, Tom. Breaks down his rational defenses. So Elena starts digging into the house's history.
And what does she find? Let me guess. Something bad.
Oh, yeah. The house is built right on the site of an old asylum. There was a huge fire back in 1823. 30 people died.
30 souls. Okay, so the built on haunted ground trope, but the story gives it teeth.
It does. The local theory isn't just ghosts. It's that the walls themselves absorb these spirits. They're trapped, and they're hungry for company. That specificity is key.
Hungry walls, right. And they focus on Lily.
Uh-huh. That's the turning point. Lily changes. Her eyes get too bright. Her voice sounds flat. She tells her parents the voices are her friends.
Oh, that's chilling. She's not scared anymore. She's siding with them.
Exactly. She becomes their advocate, their conduit. It completely undermines the parents' ability to fight back or protect her.
So this all leads to the confrontation, right, in the cellar.
Yes. They try to physically get Lily out of there, but she fights them. The text says she seems possessed by something ancient and vile. Her voice changes, deepens.
And the house joins in.
The whole house. It starts shaking, doors are slamming everywhere, and the plaster on the walls cracks open.
Starts open.
Yeah, revealing faces inside. Described as pale, eyeless masks. The trapped souls are literally emerging from the structure. The walls aren't just holding them, they're releasing them.
Okay, that's, wow. Nightmare fuel. And the ending is abrupt, isn't it?
Very tragic. Lily seems to snap out of it for a second, grabs a piece of glass from an old trunk they found in the attic, and she kills her parents.
Just like that. The daughter.
Just like that. And the final detail there is that the walls pulsed again, absorbing the fresh screams into their endless hunger.
Absorbing the screams. So the house literally feeds on the tragedy.
Seems so. And the aftermath is maybe even creepier. The police show up days later because, neighbors are worried. They find the house totally empty.
Empty, like no bodies.
No bodies, no furniture, nothing. Looks like it's been abandoned for years. The only sign the Hargroves were ever there is in Lily's room.
What is it?
A list of names carved into the plaster. The 30 names from the asylum fire, presumably. And at the bottom, freshly carved, Lily Hargrove.
Oh, man. So she joined them. She's in the wall.
That's the implication. She became part of the house's collection.
So looking back, the language is key. Pulse, murmur, insistent, possessed, and finally absorbing. It charts the whole progression of terror.
Absolutely. It's a deliberate escalation. But what really sticks with you, I think, is that ending. The silence.
How so?
Well, the violence is shocking, yes. But finding the house empty, utterly erased, it suggests the walls won completely. They didn't just kill the family, they consumed them. That silence feels heavier somehow, more permanent.
Like the hunger is satisfied for now, but the walls are still there waiting.
Exactly. Patient. That lingering sense of quiet, patient hunger is perhaps the most chilling takeaway. Who's next?